My neighbor banged on my door at 6:15 a.m. on a Wednesday, his face red and breath coming in harsh gasps. "Are you digging holes in my yard every night?" he demanded, like he had sprinted all the way from his house. I rubbed my eyes, confused, still half asleep. I hadn't even had coffee yet. "Digging holes in your yard? Why would I do that?" I asked slowly, my voice hoarse. He ran a hand over his face, frustration written in every line of his forehead. "Because every night, at exactly to 12 a.m., I hear digging. Slow, steady digging, like someone using a small hand shovel, and it always comes from your side of the fence." His voice shook slightly, and I could see he genuinely believed what he was saying. "I'm asleep at 12 every night," I said, frowning. But he shook his head. "It's coming from your property. And now, I'm finding holes, perfect holes, deep ones. You haven't noticed them yet, but they're there." I followed him across the dew-covered grass to the fence. He pointed to 4 small, round holes in a straight line, identical in size and depth. They were too perfect for animals, too clean for kids, too precise for anything normal. I stared at them, my stomach tightening. "I didn't do this," I said slowly. "That's what scares me," he muttered, rubbing his temples as if to ward off a headache. Back in my own yard, I walked cautiously toward the shed, and my heart sank. For more holes, the exact same size, spacing, and depth, were dug behind the shed. My fingers brushed the soft, fresh dirt. Someone had been here recently. Someone meticulous. "You really didn't hear anything?" my neighbor asked again, his voice lower now. "No," I whispered. That afternoon, I set up a motion-activated camera behind the shed, angling it carefully so it would capture any nighttime activity. I barely slept that night, lying awake as shadows from the streetlights stretched across the walls of my bedroom. At 2:14 a.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected. My pulse jumped into my throat as I opened the footage. The yard was dark, but a figure moved cautiously across the frame, kneeling in the dirt with a small hand shovel. Each movement was deliberate, careful, almost methodical. Dark clothing, gloves, hood pulled low, no face visible. The figure paused frequently, as if listening for any sound from the house. Then, after digging another perfect hole, they placed something inside a small, wrapped object and left as quietly as they had come. At sunrise, I went outside and dug it up. My hands trembled as I lifted a tiny glass bottle wrapped in cloth. The bottle was sealed with wax. Inside was a rolled piece of paper. I unrolled it carefully, my heart pounding, and read the single word written there: "Soon." I called the police. 2 officers arrived, one tired and seemingly annoyed. "Could be a prank," he said, glancing around with a casual air. But the second officer crouched by the holes, eyes narrowing. "These are too exact. Whoever is doing this is planning something," he said gravely. That night, I barely slept. I stared at the live feed on my phone, every sound amplified in my ears: the creak of the house settling, the rustle of trees, the distant hum of a car. To 12 a.m., nothing. To 30 a.m., nothing. 3 a.m., still nothing. My chest tightened with anxiety. Then, at 3:46 a.m., the figure returned. This time, they did not dig. They walked directly toward the camera, raised a hand, and touched the lens. For one terrifying second, the hood shifted, and a face appeared clearly. My blood ran cold. It was Daniel, my cousin. The same cousin who had once stolen my spare house key and swore he returned it. The same cousin arrested twice for breaking and entering. His smile was small and strange, almost proud, as though he knew I had seen him. I froze the video, staring at the screen, heart hammering. I called the police immediately. Officer Green arrived with 2 more officers. They searched my yard thoroughly and discovered older holes along the fence holes I hadn't even noticed before. Inside the newest bottle was a small list: dates, times, my routines, shower times, work hours, sleep schedule. At the bottom, written clearly, entry planned: next Sunday, 3:50 a.m. My stomach sank. Entry into what? Officer Green's voice was calm but serious. You're home. The following Sunday, the police lay in wait in my backyard. The tension was unbearable, every rustle in the trees setting my nerves on edge. At 3:49 a.m., Daniel climbed the fence carrying a small shovel, a flashlight, and my old spare key. His movements were confident, precise, almost casual, as though he had done this many times before. He walked straight toward the back door. He didn't make it far. Officers tackled him before he could reach the steps. He screamed my name, a strange mix of rage and delight in his voice, as they dragged him away. He screamed as if he owned the moment, as if the plan itself gave him a thrill. Daniel was charged with attempted burglary, stalking, and trespassing. And though the police secured my property, I couldn't shake the image of him kneeling in the dark, digging holes with meticulous care, and leaving his cryptic warnings behind. Even now, I double-check my locks at night and glance toward the shed with a lingering sense of dread. Whoever he was planning for or whatever he intended is locked away for now, but the memory of those precise, perfect holes and the whispered words soon will not leave me easily.